Good morning. Today we are going to be talking about the history of the atom, and we've talked about how atom is the building block of all matter. We're going to look back in history and look at the people that have talked about the atom and looked into the atom to figure out how it looks like inside. So long before the creation of the atomic bomb, there were scientists that were hard at work to determine or discover just what the atom is really like. The first person in recorded history that ever mentioned an atom, that all material is made of atom, was Democritus, the Greek philosopher, 5th century BC. He was one of the first to come up with the idea that all matter is composed of atoms. For a long time, nothing else was recorded about the work being done on the atom till John Dalton in 1807 expanded on Democritus's idea and came up with his own postulates. Now, Dalton's postulates are listed on this right here, and the first postulate was all matter is made of atoms, which agreed with what Democritus said. Atoms cannot be created or destroyed, which was later proven wrong because the atom was broken up later. All atoms of elements are identical in size, mass, and properties, and atoms combine to form compounds was his fourth postulate. And the fifth one was chemical reactions occur when atoms are rearranged or combined. The next scientist that we look at is J.J. Thomson. In 1897, he discovered the tiny particle called electrons, the negatively charged tiny particles within the atom called electrons. He did this by using the cathode ray tube, which had a positive and a negative plate, and when a fine mist of material was passed through it, it was seen that most of them bent towards the positive plate, indicating that there was something within the atom that was negatively charged, and he called it electrons. He came up with the plum pudding model, which is pictured right here. It shows a positive cloud with negative particles, electrons, interspersed within it. The next scientist of significance that talked about the atom was Ernest Rutherford. In 1909, he discovered the nucleus, the positively charged, centrally located nucleus of an atom. He did this by using the gold foil experiment, where a thin film of gold was bombarded with alpha particles, which is positively charged particles. And he expected, if the plum pudding model was true, that there would be positive charges would repel and that they would be refracted or bounced off at several different points. But he noted that the reflection or the bouncing back only happened in the center of the atom, and therefore came up with the idea of the positively charged central nucleus. This is the model he then came up with a positively charged central nucleus and the electrons around it. The last scientist of note was Niels Bohr, and he came up with, he was studying under Rutherford, and he developed a new model of the atom. He proposed that electrons orbit the nucleus in specific patterns. This model is known as the Bohr's model, and it shows a central nucleus with the orbits or the path around the nucleus where the electrons travel, just like the planets travel around the centrally located sun in the same fashion. This is the Bohr's model, which later came to be called the Bohr's model and is even used to this day. We have a modern view of atom, which we're going to look at in a later video.